Okay. So if you're on Facebook, you check that. Check yours too.
Yeah, I'm doing it. All right, let's see my mind.
Okay, but what about your privacy? I believe it's plugged up. Yep. Okay. All right. We're good. So we're live.
We're good. We're live. Welcome everybody. Welcome back to Hospitality Hustlers. It's been a while since Kyle and I have been on together, but here we are, episode 7. What's up, man?
What's up, dude? Good to see you.
Good seeing
Glad you could join me today.
Glad you could join me. Yeah.
It's been a while.
We're here today. We're gonna discuss. We've both been hearing. We were chatting pre-recording, and we've both been hearing in both of our areas that bookings is down for a lot of people. People are struggling this summer, so we thought we would touch on that and try and help some people out that way.
100%. So, cool. So we I ran a workshop yesterday. No, day before yesterday. And in the workshop, we talked about literally from A to Z. I want to talk more about it, but we talked A to Z on like start to finish all the people that are having struggles and like where to start in their listing. So literally from top down, and we have a Airbnb market manager that has been really working with us like every 2 weeks, going through supply, demand. So we talked about supply versus demand. We talked about I talked about that the other day, and then we also went through like from titles to pricing. I think it was pretty in depth in the workshop. So we can go through that today. But like, what are you seeing in New Hampshire? Because we were talking about like struggles. So like, what do you think the biggest struggles are going on right now in New Hampshire?
Yeah, we're in mountain market like you are, and bookings are down across the board for most properties. I know we'll get into it, but there's a certain segment of the listings that are still doing well, but still not as good as last year. I think it's continuation of the normalization post 2021, 22 or 2021, 22 peak that we saw. So it's just I think it's a reality that a lot of people are coming to.
Yep. So for us, the most common thing I'm seeing, there's two things actually, is pricing 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody, even us too, like going from 22 to 23 and 23 to 24, we did that like incremental increase. And we went in and marked it up 10% or 5% or 10, 20%, whatever it was on the base rates. And what we found is like, you do that and then you're like slamming and cut prices. And so not understanding like why you have to keep slashing prices. And so that relates back to like what your listing looks like. And so, people aren't refreshing their pictures. People aren't, they're not changing up their pictures. They're not adding the right amenities in. They're not really controlling what they have, like auditing what they have. So I would say like those two things, they really go together. But it's presentation and nightly rate. So like people are like jacking up to $500 a night, and the place should be renting for like $250. and they're not getting booked. And so, we have a lot of people reaching out to us for the same questions. I've got owners that are asking why occupancy is low or whatever. So, going through and explaining all the supply versus demand was huge on when we explain it and go over it with our owners, just so everybody's on the same page. But people who don't have managers that understand the market, people who are just like they've been doing it for 10 years and they, for some reason they got 10-year-old photos, they got 10-year-old furniture, whatever, 10-year-old design. They were really struggling and they're wondering why or how they can get it back up. So we can dive in. The first question is, how was your Memorial Day?
Memorial Day was good. Daughter had a softball tournament, so had 4 games over 3 days. So they did well. And then threw it in some pool time as well. So it was good. Nice weather up here in New England.
Nice.
We're supposed to have a warmer than average summer, and thus far it's on track. So
nice. I just want to ask you because I haven't seen you in like 3 weeks. So
yeah.
Okay. Do what? What was mine?
How's mine?
Mine was good, dude. We had a pool day on Sunday. Cousin graduated on Friday. What else? We had my daughter's friend, her and her brother. We had them for 5 days while their parents went to a wedding in Texas. So yeah, we had a fun-filled house with 4 kids, still trying to work. They went to the zoo, all sorts of stuff. So we had a good time.
Good deal.
Yeah. So, all right. So you want to take us off on maybe some methods that you would advise, or maybe you do, for auditing listings?
Yeah. So if someone's out there and they're struggling to get bookings, first you gotta take a look at your listing, and you can do that by opening up an incognito window in whatever browser and searching for it and seeing where you fall in the rankings, or in what page. But then you also got to, from there you actually look at your listing and see those that are ranking above you, trying and take a objective look at your listing compared to theirs. What are they doing better on their listing? Is it title? Is it pictures? Do they have better design decor? Like if you haven't reinvested any money into your property in the past few years, it's probably time to. That's probably a lot of some of why you're not doing as well as you were hoped, because there's a lot of supply that's come on in the past couple of years, and while demand, yes, is up, supply has outpaced that demand. So yeah, what about you?
So with the market manager, Airbnb market manager, we go through like 3 months at a time, like 8 to 12 weeks. We go through it, and she shows me like the graphs, and we meet, and she says, okay, like in this area, like because we're in Blue Ridge, right? So, and she said it's across the nation, but if she is in my market, so we go through it and we say, okay, well there was a 6% increase in this week, because we section it out week by week by week. So there was a 6% increase in demand from last year. We're like, cool, it's great. But then there was a 12% increase in supply. We're like, okay, that's not good. So we see that like, especially in May and in June. Now July is amazing, and actually August is amazing. So July, there's like, I think there was 10% increase in demand, but there's 25% increase in supply, something crazy like that. And I was like, that's awesome. And in August, it's kind of funny because August is the same way, but last year August sucked, like horrible, like 3rd worst month of the season. Kids are going back to school. Just normally it's bad. But what For this August in Blue Ridge, it is like a 2% or 3% increase in no, it is a I have it wrote down. It's like an 8% increase in August or something like that, and a 2% increase in demand. Something crazy like that. So it's really good, but I think they're all in they're actually double digits for supply and demand. Like they're really good in July and August. But like May and June is like really bad. So understanding that the market's fluctuating, like there is a good 10% increase in demand, but then there's an 18% increase in supply. Like, that helps you understand, like, okay, we either need to be like super price conscious, really need to go through listings, really need to update titles, whatever, make some crazy discounts, doesn't matter. So understanding that first, that it's not, oh, there's just too much on the market. Like there is.
Yeah.
But you could still have 1,000 more rentals on the market and still outbeat everybody else if you do it right.
Right.
So back to what you're saying, like if you have 20-year-old furniture in there, and and there's nothing really spectacular about the house, and it's really not beautiful or stunning or whatever, then like you're not going to be a top performer, or you're probably not going to do well. Period. And so in the workshop that we did, the first thing I said is be honest with yourself. Like look at your listing from a third party individual. Pull it up incognito, just like you said, and just be honest with yourself. Like, does it have the views? Does it have the amenities? Does it have the beauty? Does it have the design? Does it have the location? Like, can you actually compete with top performers? Because if you can't, there's not a lot of them that really can. If you can't, okay, but what section can you actually like? Is this a 50th percentile? Is this a bottom percentile? Whatever. And then being honest with yourself is the first step. But then going in and like then we have like the strategy of like going all the way down. So like starting at the title, just like you said. Do you have your amenities in your title? Does your title have a name? Like does your cabin or whatever it is have a name? And then literally like so what I did with my market manager, I said, I want you to go like I have a process of this, but I want you to go through my listings, and I want to see you do it. I want you to share your screen, and I want to watch you how you do it. She was like, okay, cool. So she did. She pulled it up incognito because she can like log into my account and all that kind of stuff. So like, she pulled it up incognito, and I watched her. It's the same process: title, pictures. So then you go from title. What does it look like? Are you using keywords? Then pictures. Do you have the photo tour on? Do your pictures look decent? Like, what do they look like? Is it time for new ones? Do you have a Christmas tree up in the middle of July? Like, what are we doing here? Are they quality? How many photos do you have? So, like, really getting your like meat and potatoes out of your pictures, and just saying, instead of saying, well, I got 10 pictures on there. Like, is your hero photo straight? Are your top 5 best? Good, whatever. But I used to be really against the photo tour. Like, I don't know how you feel about the photo tour, but I was like really against it because I was a big proponent on like your first 5 are the best, 2 break photos, the kitchen, 2 break photos, the living room, 2 break photos of bedroom. Like every space was different, and then hooking up your bedrooms and your bathrooms together. It's like I was really big on that. And then when she told me like guests love the photo tours. Like if you don't have a photo tour and they can't find the game room, they'll just jump off the listing. It's frustrating for them. And I was like, interesting. So she said it also, she's like, she really believes it helps in the algorithm too, if you have the photo tour on. I was like, interesting. Okay. So like, we know a lot, right? We're all experts in this field, but I was like, I'm always here to learn.
Yeah.
So, what was your question?
I was just going to ask, what's the data that they're using for that? Like, how are they determining that?
I have no idea. I didn't go deep into that. I was just there as a student. Like I'm always just there to learn with her. So I don't know about the data or anything like that, but she is my Airbnb market manager. So like whatever she says, I'll listen to.
Yeah.
I don't even question. I'm like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So going through the photo tour, and then from the photo tour we go to the copy. How is it written out? What does it look like? So like we took on a client that we were helping in Blue Ridge, and she like her copy was like 4 sentences. That was it. And it was just like, it's a beautiful cabin with a view. I don't remember exactly what it said, but it was like very, not list how many bedrooms it was, bathrooms, where it's at, how far it is from town, like what every section looked like, or anything like that. So like in the workshop, I actually have like screenshots and like an example of all the copy. So, start with like, hey, enjoy your best experience in a couple sentences. Enjoy your best experience in Blue Ridge. I don't know, whatever. You're gonna love it here. The unique design cabin with the view, whatever. Then it's very short. And then next would be like highlights. Or no, I'm sorry. The next would be like the distances to the city. 7 minutes to downtown Blue Ridge, 4 minutes to 𝗙់Vineyards. Whatever. Like some of your top highlight, like ALE, amenities, location, experience. So that would be like in your location. And then experience would be guests. So like having guest reviews, having a few reviews pulled out of your listing, copied and pasted in there. And then from there, breaking out, like your copy would be like bedrooms, kitchen, and then like all caps, and then saying, okay, it's a fully equipped kitchen. We have all the pots and pans to cook all your. We've had questions like, do you have an 11 by 11 pan? Like, I don't know. I have no idea. Like, I can send a cleaner over there to ask because I have no idea if I have an 11 by 11. So having that like put in there and just saying like fully equipped kitchen, enjoy, your morning coffee while sitting here looking at the view or whatever. So anyways, like breaking out every single section, your outdoor space and all that. And then, so once you get your copy done, then from there we go to the calendar. Like, and this is where people screw up. Like, this is what I see a lot, is they don't understand what the booking days are in the market. They don't understand what the minimum.
You mean lead time?
Is. They don't understand any of it.
Yeah.
So lead time, how far out are people booking? How many days are they average booking? What's your minimum booking setting? So like I helped a guy in Florida. He was like, I can't book this thing for nothing. Like, it's peak season. I can't figure it out. I don't understand. He had a 5-night minimum in his settings with a 3-night average day stay for those months. And I was like, bro, you're not going to get a booking at all unless somebody wants to come for a week. Like, that's not going to happen. So when you see an Airbnb or whatever that it's a 3-night average day stay in May, June, July, or whatever it is in this part of Florida, and you have a 5-night minimum, like you're going to have like a 3% occupancy for the year. Like it's going to be bad. So a lot of people do what? That was you? That what you said?
No. What?
What?
No, I was going to ask you, where are you finding all this data?
Airbnb. So if you go into Airbnb, you pull the market up. Usually I think you can get it for free just to find this data. And I don't think it's locked, but like if you have properties in a certain city or a certain zip code, you can like pay $25 a month with Airbnb just to stay with the trends and stay with the market. And I think you can actually see this in Price Labs too, if you're hooked up to Price Labs, the market dashboard. But anyways, in Airbnb, do what?
I said, which you should be.
Yeah, you should be. But if you're in Airbnb, you can see like per month, you have the graph per month. I think it breaks it out into like property size, so like 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom per month. Average day stay. It's like on the bottom on the left.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we found is like the max average day stay was like 5 in this market for him in like, I don't know, November or something. And I was like, I don't remember the month, but I remember it was their like super peak season, peak month. It was like 5 average. And I was like, yeah, but you still have a 5-day minimum. Like we still have a problem here. So we changed that, and it was like freaking magic. It was just that one thing, and it was like magic. So I see the same thing in Blue Ridge a lot too. People do like
sometimes it's all it takes.
Minimums.
Yeah.
So understanding that, and then understanding too, like, do you have maybe you have like a 3-night minimum because like you don't want to take any 2-night stays for whatever reason. You don't like making money or something. I don't know. So you have like a 3-night or 4-night minimum, but then like the slow season comes, like your shoulder season and like your dead season, you still have that 3-night, 4-night minimum on. So not understanding your market swing too. Like for you guys, like you guys shut down for like 3 months, right? Like y'all are dead for like 3 months.
Yeah, we're just coming out of, and this year was slower than last year by about 10%. April and May were pretty slow. And then again in the fall as well. normally after the foliage drops, so mid October through Christmas time.
Y'all are
It's
slow.
pretty, yeah.
So like a method some people do, they'll go to a 1 night minimum. In those now, I don't like 1 night minimums like for your bigger stuff. It just doesn't make any sense. Like you're gonna net half of what you're grossing. Like you're not even gonna net that half. Like you're gonna pay it out to cleaners. Half of it goes straight to cleaners if you do a 1 night minimum. So like what Marina, I shouldn't have said, I probably shouldn't have said her name. Anyways, but her in my market manager, she tried to get me to go 1 night during like the middle of the week, and I was like, absolutely not happening. I'm not paying my cleaners like $3,000 to clean this place a month. It's not gonna happen. I'd rather it sit. So, anyways, there's some tips and tricks you can do, like for minimum stays. You can go to a 1 night, especially if you're like a 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom, something smaller. Trying to get like Mondays and Tuesdays booked up. And anyways, so you go from understanding like the nightly booking window and how far out they're booking and all that kind of stuff, because there's also something in AirDNA. What you can see is like over 120 days they're booking, like I don't know, 30% of people are booking, and then you have 40% of booking happen in the next 3 weeks, and then you have like, and it tells you in stages, so like maybe you have like, you only have 30% of all your bookings coming between like 3 or 4 weeks and 4 months, and it's sporadic. So like once you miss that window far out, your biggest chance of booking is within the next 3 weeks. Just for instance, like that'll show you in AirDNA when you start reading the graphs. So that is extremely imperative too, because if you go, okay, well, 120 days out, like we have it set up, like if you book over 120 days out in Blue Ridge, it's a 3-night min. But if we miss that window, don't expect a lot of bookings in here. So you better pull that 2-night minimum, 1 night minimum, whatever, pull it in there, and then reassess when it comes up closer, because then your main of your bookings are going to come here. So there's this like weird, like you just have to understand the market, and we're always playing with it. Like we're not perfect, but like we're always playing with it. And figuring out what works and what doesn't work. So that's a big one that people are missing, especially like if they have 1 or 2 cabins. Like for us, like they have 1 or 2 cabins, they're self-managing. One has a view and one doesn't, and they can't figure out like why one's doing better than the other. They're trying to price them the same. One has a better amenity, or their calendars are way off, and they just can't figure it out. Like they just don't understand. All they're doing is guessing. So that's a big one. That's like a massive big one that's overlooked all the time. And then, of course, you want to check your reviews. And if you can fight to have a review removed for something that was dumb, retaliation, you ask for them to replace a layup, they hit you with a 1-star review, like that'll kill you. So, stuff like that you can get removed if you push hard enough with Airbnb.
And on that note as well, if there's something minor or that comes up and a guest does note it, on the review, you should also respond to that review, so people, future guests know that you are a responsible and reactive host and are actively taking care of things that come up, because things come up. I think most people are understanding of that, but as long as you can portray that
100%.
you care, that also helps.
100%. It's funny you say that, because so if we have a weird review, like let's say there was pollen on the porch, like we hit pollen season here for like 3 weeks and it was horrible. Like they would clean, 2 hours later it'd be covered in pollen. Stupid.
Yeah, right.
It's the only reason you shouldn't move to Georgia is because of pollen. So anyways, if the team sees something like that and they're pushing to get it removed, they won't respond to it. And in that time of trying to get it to remove it, I'll have owners call me and they're like, are you going to at least respond to this? I'm like, we're trying to get it removed. We're not going to respond to it unless we can't get it removed. Now, we should probably just respond to it while we try to get it removed. Like, we probably should, but usually the team doesn't. And so like we kind of like go back and forth, and we're like, hey guys, like at least make a review, like response. Yeah. So it's pretty funny because it's like this game that I don't like playing between like my owner, me, and the team. And I'm like, hey, where are we at? And they're like, oh, they're about to pull it. Like, well, can we at least just say like, gotcha or something, like, can we respond to it with something? So, but anyway, so yes, I think that's a great point, because if you see all your good reviews responded to and all your bad reviews not, it does look bad. That looks really bad. So, another thing is, so after you get like through your reviews and everything looks good, make sure your location's correct and all that stuff. But after that, then it goes back to pricing. And that's when it goes into like revenue management. And that's what, like, you could have the world's best appearance, world's best, like listing flow, copy, all that kind of stuff. But if you are stupidly priced, you're like, everybody around you on the same street is like $200 a night and you're $450.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna happen. Like, you're not gonna get it. So that's one that people, it's back to being honest with yourself. Like, do you think you have the best property in the market? But it's really not. So like, we actually have a property in Blue Ridge. It's Blue Turtle Villa. Hands down, one of the nicest places in Blue Ridge I've ever seen in my life. I mean, beautiful. It's a parking lot away from the Lake Blue Ridge. Paddle boards, kayaks, you name it. It's beautiful. And the owner has 2 in the Keys. And so I was a little worried at first, because like, I was like, hey, I think we're going to book this place like $700 a night, $600 a night. And she was like, I don't want to go less than $500 a night. I was like, okay, cool. Went back and started looking at the data, and I was like, I don't know, man. Like, we might be pricing ourselves out of the market here. I mean, we do have a fabulous product. I mean, it's a brand new build, all this stuff. And I was like, I started like kind of going back, because there's nothing in the market that's like it. There's nothing. And I was like, I don't know, man. So like, we were slow at first, and so I dropped it to like 400, 425 a night, and she could have killed me by doing that. We started generating some bookings. It's going to do 19,000 in July. I was like, it's minimum $499 a night, minimum.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, I believe now. And she was like, she's done this house twice before. And she's like, I know what we have. I was like, I know what we have too, but like, I'm trying to be honest with myself here. Like, did we price ourselves out of? No, she proved me wrong, is what she did. And I'm like, hey, let's go, baby. Like, you teach me something. Let's go. We all have something to learn,
Yeah.
So,
I've got a similar property. We took over management of it last fall. And the owner has one particular picture. So it's a beautiful, it's a large, I think like 3,200 square foot, 4 bedrooms. It's got views of the mountains. Got an indoor pool, sauna, and it's a nice property. And
you give me a discount to stay there?
Yeah, buddy, come on up.
Not no 10. I don't need no 10% off discount either. I need like 80% off.
But so the owner has one particular photo that he wants as the hero photo. And he also, he watches his numbers very close. And, the past couple of years, like, he was able to command quite a nightly rate with his property. But we just haven't we haven't seen the occupancy with the nightly rate. And it's, you go and you look at the data, and I explained it. You go and you look at the data, and I because of the amenities that it has in its size, I compare it to a 5-bedroom. Like, we're still way above, what 5 bedrooms in the area are commanding. And, I think part of the reason why the occupancy is so low is because, the ADR.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, we have that too. I mean, we have a property that we literally ran for like 2 or 3 months. Best view probably in the world. I mean, it's ungodly view. It was a nice place. They wanted no less than $450 a night, and I was like, "There's no way. There's no way." We had like 4 bookings in 3 months. That was it. And they didn't want to allow pets or anything like that. So that's another thing that a lot of people overlook is pets. So like Blue Ridge, pets and jacuzzi, or pets and hot tub, whatever. So my Airbnb girl, my market manager, she showed me some statistics that what people are searching for in the nation and what people are searching for in Blue Ridge. And these things I already knew, but it was cool to see it on paper. Like the number one amenity in the world people are searching for. Do you know what that is?
Is it pet friendly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pet friendly. In the world.
Yeah. So I don't know if she shared the number with you, but I think it was 2 years ago when I heard the stat, and I think it was at actually the STR Wealth Conference. It was that 54% of all travelers travel with a pet.
It's crazy.
And I mean, this was 2 years ago.
Crazy.
I can only imagine, it's grown since then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you are not pet friendly, you are literally cutting your potential guest pool in half, over half.
We could probably do a whole, maybe next week we just talk about being pet friendly, because there's certain things that like people don't think about, and I've never heard anybody talk about this except my market manager. We were talking about this like 2 weeks ago. People don't understand, like, and I had this conversation with owners. So like, if you're a manager or co-host or whatever you want to call it, and you are managing other properties for people, and you have this pet friendly conversation, typically it goes like this. How do you feel about allowing pets or dogs in your house? No. Are you sure? Yes. Why? I don't want pet damage. Okay. Or you say, like, well, I can cover it with like safely or whatever. That's what we use. And they say, no. So, okay, cool. We don't book anything for like 6 months, and then they're like, okay, like, let's try pets. That's usually how that goes. But understanding how the process works for the guest to book a place. So just because, one, you offer pets, like, we should do this next week. We should just be pet friendly next week. Just from the guest booking to like actually coming. Let's say they're like, it's a family and they think they're going to bring their dog 𝗙cie or whatever. I'll use 𝗙cie. 𝗙cie's my dog, one of my dogs. So like, we think 𝗙cie's going to go with us. So we're booking, like I'm sitting at a W-2 job. I'm sitting in a cubicle and I'm like sitting there looking, I'm supposed to be working, but I'm sitting there looking at Airbnbs, right? You're like scrolling through. And you heart this one. You think 𝗙cie's coming. You heart this one. You heart that one. You heart this one. You put it on your wish list and you send it to your spouse. I'm thinking about these 3 places. What do you think? Well, I don't know. I'm not sure who's coming. Do we need a big place? Like whatever. Well, then they fall in love with the place. And then something happens. And they're like, I really don't want to drive 𝗙cie 6 hours to go to this place. But they are stuck on this place. They have this place like saved. They book without the pet fee. They book without choosing a pet because 𝗙cie's not coming. They've got somebody who's going to come watch the dog for a couple of days. And they still booked that place. But they never found you because, like, they never found you if you're not pet friendly. But the fact that they're not bringing their pet, but you came up in the search of being pet friendly, like, it's mind-blowing. It is absolutely mind-blowing. Just because you're pet friendly does not mean they're bringing a pet. Maybe they had full intention on bringing one. Plans change, but you're still in that saved list of nothing but pet-friendly options. Every single option is pet-friendly.
Yeah, and I've had a similar conversation with hotels recently and hot tubs. Because we kind of going back and forth on, if we did a hot tub or not. I had a conversation with an operator in the market who had a hot tub, got rid of it because it just wasn't getting used. So we felt that, that capital could be reinvested elsewhere for other improvements. And but then I had follow-up conversations with people that say that, they search for hotels with hot tubs or a pool to stay. Doesn't mean they necessarily use them, but they still search for them.
Yeah.
So I think that's another, big point is, to figure out what people are searching for, what people want. And, they're not necessarily always big things. Sometimes it's, a fenced in yard for their dog. Sometimes it's, some people appreciate good coffee. So sometimes all you need is a little, a little coffee bar. So it doesn't have to be necessarily always be something big, but it's, again, coming back to understanding who you're serving.
Yeah, 100%. And so with the pets, like looking at like if you're allowing pets or if you're not, like that. Here comes my little one.
What's up, dude? You got Hot Wheels?
Drinking a U with a Hot Wheels hat on. So pleasures of working from home. So right. If you have so pets is a big one. Now, one thing that like you go through your listing, like you're auditing your listing and everything looks good, you're pet friendly, whatever, and you still can't get traction. We have tried. We have 2 separate occasions. Like if you're depends on your avatar, right? If you are pet friendly and you are catering to pets, then what are you doing to cater to pets? Is it like, do you have the dog bowls? Do you have the dog treats? Do you have all this stuff? So like there's one listing that we have that we're going through and we're adding all this stuff because they have a dog running stuff, and then we have another one that's actually on the mountain, and it's on the mountain of the management company is like Sliding Rock Cabins and in Cherry Log, and the hold on one second, the it's on Cherry Log, Sliding Rock Cabins. Everything is like the most pet friendly management company in the universe, something like that. And so what they do is they don't charge a pet fee, and they put in the listing titles like free pet, pet stay for free or whatever. So we tried that, and I have a 2-bedroom cabin on that mountain for that. It did 52 or something like that, $52,000 last year. It's a 2-bedroom cabin. Everything around it does like 30, and it's no pet fees. It's 2 people come. It's a 2-bedroom cabin. Like literally, we looked at all of the people that have come in the last year. Like 95% of them is 2 people, no kids, no 2 couples, nothing like that. So that's a huge one, and so that's a good lever you could pull is like 0 pet fee, and then put it in the title. So let's do pet friendly next week. We're just gonna do like why should you do pets, and if you do, how to
it can definitely be a full episode on there.
Yeah. So all right, I guess that's really a good base to stop before we like really dive into the pet friendly stuff. So if you want to stop there, and then we can like leave it for next week. But yeah, and you got anything else? It's a lot of good info on
I think just to recap, open up that incognito or private whatever window, do a search, see where you land, be honest with yourself when it comes to your listing. Are your photos good? Is your design and decor competitive? Is your title good? Is your copyright good? Did you cover everything in your copyright? And then from there, take a look at your pricing, your days on market, and see where you land there. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Episode 7 of Hospitality Hustlers. We'll catch you next week.